Welcome to Better Love and Sex with Devi Ward, exploring ways for you to awaken, heal, and transform your relationships in and out of the bedroom. Are you looking for practical tools to create more connection, passion, and pleasure in your life? Get some right now with your host, Devi Ward.
Thank you, Jason. So, Jason, I'm going to introduce you to our audience. Thank you so much for your contribution. So, I've actually known Jason. I was thinking about this. Jason, I've known you virtually for 5 years. Isn't that amazing? It's been 5 years. We've been chit-chatting and observing each other and growing and all that. And so, Jason has always been a curious soul. I can attest to that. His undying curiosity led him to new information and spiritual experiences that broadened his view of the world and its people. I want to hear about that. From this broadened perspective, a new life emerged for Jason, anchored in peace and tranquility. Since his transformation, he has been very passionate about helping people find their inner strength so they too can live in harmony. That's so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. Would you be willing to share a little bit about your spiritual experiences that broadened your view of the world? Those had to be very impactful.
Yes, well, I mean, I've always been the type of person who always wants to improve. So, I mean, as far as what we label as being spiritual, for me, it just simply means the desire to want to evolve. So for me, it's always, how can I be a better person? If I'm angry, where's the anger coming from? How can I evolve as a man to be a better human being? So with that desire, I've learned certain tools that I've used myself to evolve and to grow as a man. So what I do is I'm still a student. So everything that I learn, I pass along as a lesson to others that I can share. So that's what I do with my coaching or whatever it is that I'm doing to help people heal themselves.
And there's just some really beautiful and poignant information that is shared. I primarily interact with Jason through Facebook, just to be totally authentic. And there's some really beautiful sharings that occur. And one of the things I'm really attracted to about what you share is this concept of the new masculine. Could you talk a little bit about what that means for you?
Yes, and I think that it's connected to the violence within pornography. I actually think that when men, not in all cases, but I think in some cases, men, when they are violent towards women, I think sometimes it has to do with them denying the feminine part of themselves, because as a human being, as a man, I'm primarily masculine, but I'm secondarily feminine. And women are primarily feminine, secondary masculine. So we don't understand that if we can't honor all of the energy that is within us, and if we feel ashamed of that energy when we want to express it and we push it down because we think that it's unmanly, a lot of times it comes out in violence.
Yes.
In many cases. And I think this is the case a lot when it comes to the situations that are happening in pornography and relationships, just abuse in general.
Yeah, so it's like when men aren't at peace with their inner feminine or haven't integrated their inner feminine, then they kind of like act out in violence and act out in violence. Right.
It's like a subconscious way to push away this feeling of femininity that they think is weak. And that's just ironic because, we've been taught as men that femininity is weak, when feminine energy is powerful just like masculine energy. Feminine energy is creative energy. It's the energy where children are born through that energy. So for us to sit here and to try to paint the picture that women are weak is definitely giving insight to how much we don't know about ourselves.
Amen. Absolutely. So then what is the attitude of the new masculine?
Okay, the attitude of the new masculine is to first understand that feminine energy is within us as well and to honor that and to use the understanding of the feminine principles as the bridge that we can use to connect with women since they are primarily feminine. And this is what I teach men. I do an online energetic orgasmic workshop where I teach men how to connect people with women. I teach them basic tantric energy moving techniques so they can bring their women to climaxes energetically and physically, teach them how to last longer. But within all of these teachings, the first thing that I teach them are the masculine and feminine principles. That's the first webinar, because you need to understand those energetic principles before you can truly connect with the woman. And after you understand those principles and apply it in your life, not only in your sex life, but just in your relationship with women in general, what'll happen is you'll see that a woman will begin to open her heart because she'll see that you understand her. And a woman opens her heart when she knows that you can understand her and when she knows that she can trust you as well.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm just going to say that that's absolutely validated by recent science that a woman's autonomic nervous system must be in a state of relaxation, and in order for her to reach her full orgasmic ability, her full arousal capacity. And one of the key words is she must feel safe. She must be able to relax and let go of that vigilance, and she must utterly trust the man and feel supported by him, or what if you're in the same sex relationship, by her partner. So a woman must feel safe with her partner in order to let go and experience her full pleasure potential.
Right, and a lot of women don't feel safe. This is the issue. There's a lot of anger from the men towards the women and from the women towards the men. What we have to do as men and women is we have to come together and recognize that, okay, there's an issue between us, between the genders. How can we come together and heal these issues between each other so we can connect on a deeper level, create together, and grow together in a healthy, harmonious relationship as opposed to the majority relationships that are being experienced today, because a lot of people don't understand that there needs to be harmony. They don't know how to get to that harmony. And this is what I help people do, whether I'm coaching couples or single people. It's all about how can we get to the state of harmony? How can I help you get your harmony back?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kind of like how can get your sexy back, get your harmony back.
Yeah, harmony is sexy.
Amen. Harmony is sexy.
Yeah, so harmony is the new sexy.
Yeah, I like it. Harmony is the new sexy. I'm gonna have to use that in our marketing.
Yeah.
So something occurred to me. Would you be willing to give us just a quick example of masculine and feminine principles, because some people might not know what that means. I don't want to give you to give all your webinar stuff away, but just a couple examples.
Okay, no problem. Well, I'll give you an example. Masculine energy, for example, is to give. Okay, so the opposite of that on the feminine end is to receive. Now, a woman, she receives. We enter a woman. She receives us, and we give as the man, the masculine energy. We give. So it is very important to help all women feel safe enough to be receptive at all times, because a woman who has a receptive, inviting energy is more at peace with herself and more in her true nature as a woman, to be open and receptive. But if a woman is afraid, doesn't feel safe, and if she doesn't feel like she's in a safe enough space to be able to do that, then she starts clutching, and then she shifts more into her masculine energy as a protection mechanism, as a defense mechanism, rather. Mm-hmm. So we as men, we have to understand that when you turn on the television, when you look at magazines, all women are being objectified as just physical bodies. They're not being looked at as a complete human being. So it's our responsibility to really connect with women, not only just in the physical sense, but ask her questions about who she is, what her desires are. Find out about her. And the body and all of that should be a secondary connection. You should want to know about the human being that you're going to be intimate with, that you're going to connect with.
That's a beautiful point. That is just making my heart sing.
Right. So, and I want to say this too. There was a time when I was out there having sex with a lot of women, okay? And I admit that. And not even kissing or anything. But as I evolved as a human being, because I had the desire to grow and evolve through my experiences, I've come to recognize that sex is meant to be sacred. So therefore, I see women all the time that are physically attractive, but if I don't want to kiss that woman, this is my marker of whether, there's a possibility if I be intimate with the woman or not. Do I want to kiss her or not? If I don't want to kiss her, I shouldn't have sex with her.
Mm-hmm. So kissing for you, I'm guessing, requires more emotional involvement and more emotional intimacy. And so what you're saying is if you don't crave or desire emotional intimacy, then the physical intimacy is superficial.
Right. And I'm saying that, to me, kissing is more intimate than intercourse.
Yes. That's
and here's the thing. And if we understand that sex is sacred, if we understand the energy involved with the act, if you are engaging in a sexual act just off of the lower chakras and it's just physical, that's low vibrational. So when you're operating in sexual activities on a lower frequency, you're more susceptible to get STDs and things of that nature. But see, but when you step into a sexual encounter because not only are you attracted to them physically, but you're attracted to the person, who they are. Now you're coming in with an open heart. So now the frequency of the act is a higher frequency. So what happens on the opposite end of the spectrum, it could be healing, revealing, visions, expansion of consciousness. But most people don't believe that can happen because it's hard to believe until you experience it. But I'm here to tell you, when you step into the arena of sacred sexuality, regular sex, just on the physical aspect, becomes like a TV dinner compared to a gourmet meal.
Amen, brother. Yeah, because it's all about, that's the thing, integrating the heart with the genitals with the mind. It's like, body, mind, spirit, they're inseparable. And if we are just fucking from the waist down, then we're missing out on the whole human experience.
But I want to add to this, though, and just because I say that, just because I say sex is sacred, and I get a lot of flack from people about this, even though I say that, that doesn't mean that you can't be freaky. It doesn't mean that you can't talk shit. It doesn't mean that you can't watch porn with your partner. It doesn't mean that you have to be a prude. Oh, love. No, listen. If you care about the person you're interacting with, and you want to be intimate with them, and you both want to be freaky, and neither one of you are hurting each other, go for it.
I'm so glad that you made that point, because that is a very common misperception, and especially in the world of Tantra, people are surprised that I cuss and I drink and I eat meat and I fart and I'm a human being, but
that you're human.
Yeah, there's this perception that it's all floaty and whatever, and that's not true. It's the reality is when we say sacred sex, it means that like sacred is anything. And I know one of the trainings I received when I was in Ashaya monk, it was like taking a poop is sacred, like life is sacred, everything in existence is sacred. There's no separation from the divine. So whether we're eating, we're pooping, we're fucking, we're whatever we're doing, it's sacred, and it's all about how it comes out for you. And again, in the context also wanting to make the disclaimer or whatever the point, when we are not intentionally causing harm to another, right? When we're not actually actively seeking to hurt another, but everything done in the sphere of love and joy and pleasure, mutual pleasure, is a sacred activity.
Yes, definitely. When you're consciously aware of what you're doing and you're having an experience with your heart wide open. See, that's the goal. If you want to experience better sex, the key, bottom line, the foundation is being as open as you can be. The more open you are within the connection, the more you're open to experience the orgasm. The more you're connected to your higher self because you're open. But most of us, we don't feel safe, so we close off. We play the victim role. We've been hurt in a relationship. We didn't look for the lesson within the pain, so we blame. We blamed and keep attracting the same person, bring us the same pain because we don't want to look for the lesson that can help us grow. So it's this vicious cycle. And I want to say this real quick. I know the subject is about sexual freedom, so I really want to break this down because, I have friends a friend in particular who has lived in a tantric community, and I just watch, all these things that are going on in these groups. And what I'm noticing is that a lot of people are jumping into these concepts of having multiple partners, which is, I'm not judging it, but I'm just saying multiple partners and having sex with a lot of people, but a lot of these people who are doing this are not focusing on healing their sexual trauma first before they take that step. And I think that if you put yourself in a position where you're in open relationships and you're having sex with multiple partners, if you haven't addressed your sexual trauma, if there's some trauma there, an issue, I think that it's more harm than good to express yourself in that way. Because for me, sexual freedom doesn't mean just having sex with a lot of different partners. For me, the true definition of sexual freedom is being completely open and healing from your sexual trauma first. Because you have to be free from that before you can be open enough to be truly free sexually.
That is such a fucking awesome point. I had to cuss at that for that one because that beautiful, beautiful point. I'm so glad you said that. So we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to hear more wisdom from this beautiful man.
spend hundreds of dollars on maintaining your health and wellness. However, your sexual satisfaction is an area you may often overlook. Don't you think it's about time you invested in your sex life too? If you crave deep intimacy, passion, and mind-blowing orgasms, get the tools you need to take you there. Register for your free video introduction at AuthenticTantra.com right now and make an investment in your pleasure. After all, isn't your sex life worth it? Are you frustrated and unsatisfied with your orgasms? Do you struggle with getting out of your head and into your body during sex? Would you like to know more about your G-spot, female ejaculation, and the 11 different orgasms for women? Get the secret recipe for sexual satisfaction and start experiencing the pleasure and orgasms you crave. Visit DeviWardTantra.com and register for your free female orgasm guide and uncover the top 3 blocks preventing you from having the orgasms you desire.
Welcome back to Better Love and Sex. This is your host, Devi Ward, and I am here with a wonderful and brilliant Jason Hairston. And we were actually just talking about sexual freedom, and then during the break we were continuing our conversation. And it's an incredible point to bring up, and like I was sharing with Jason, because there's this perception that the more integrated we are with our sexuality and the more free we are with our sexuality, that we're just going to go fuck anybody anytime, with absolutely no discernment. And I was sharing with Jason that actually what's occurred for me as the more healed I am in my sexuality and the more integrated I am, I can talk about it all day long, but I'm actually very, very discerning about who I interact with, because for me, I'm very aware that I really have needs for love in regards to, included with my sexuality. Love doesn't have to mean ownership, and it doesn't have to mean we're getting married, but there must be a mutual connection, there must be mutual respect, there must be mutual desire, there must be mutual celebration, and there must be some depth in order for me to feel safe going to the places that I need to go to have these incredible orgasmic experiences.
Right, and I feel the same way. It's a misconception because I express myself sexually a lot on Facebook and in my quotes, poetry. People think, and because I'm in an open relationship, people think that I'm just out having sex with a lot of women. And that is not the case. I've only been intimate with one woman outside my relationship. And for me, I confuse some women because some women will be beautiful and they want to have sex with me and I don't want to. It could be various reasons. So for me, it has to be more than just the physical. And I can still admire the beauty, a beautiful woman and her beautiful body and be like, she is fine. And still be like, and fantasizing everything. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to pursue sex. I can admire a woman's beauty without pursuing sex, without trying to get the number. Because for me, connecting is about connecting. So here's the thing, too, and just because you're a pretty woman, there could be an average woman in the room that will get my attention more than the quote-unquote beautiful woman, because the average woman, she loves herself, her energy is inviting, she's confident, she's loving, her heart is open. I'm like a moth to a flame to that type of energy coming from a woman. Mm-hmm. If you're pretentious and shallow and you could be fine with the Gucci purse, whatever, I'm going to just be like, hey, okay, no depth. I want to talk to this woman over here who knows who she is, that knows what she wants, that wants to share with me all of those things. And then I want to share the same thing. I don't want to sit up here and talk about the Atlanta housewives and nothing like that. I want to talk about passion, desire. What do you want to create? What can we create? Mm-hmm. What do you know that I don't know? Please share with me.
And so what you just described, I think, bringing it back to, where we started from as far as the new masculine, like what you just described is such a beautiful example of the motivation of this new concept of masculinity, that it isn't about, having the porn body or the suit and Cosmo body or whatever. Not that looks aren't important, they can be too, but it's this internal vibrance, this internal resonance and magnetism that draws you, and that you're sensitive to that as a man who's anchored empowered and secure in himself and, you know, an integrated sexuality, sexually, that what you're drawn to is the connection.
Right. It's the connection of who you are as a being. Because I can feel your energy. I'm in tune with energy, and I understand, you know, I trust what I feel, and everything I do is based off of how I feel. You know, so if I'm not feeling you, like really feeling you, it's nothing, we're not going to connect, and it's just that simple.
So how did you get to where you are?
Just doing the inner work, doing a lot of meditation, just observing myself and others, not only learning from my experiences, but everyone's experiences around me. You know, I was the type of child that I used to watch my parents literally, and the things they did that I didn't like, I would mark that out. Well, I ain't going to do that when I get grown. And the things that they did that I did like, I was like, yeah, I'll do that too. So I've always been that way. Like, I don't just, so if I'm a fan of, let's say, a fan of an artist or a speaker, what have you, just because I'm a huge fan doesn't mean I'm going to automatically agree with everything you say. You might say something that sounds like bullshit to me, and I'm going to be like, nah, that sounds like bullshit. I don't care how much I like you.
I love it.
That's just the way that I am. And I want other people to be the same way with me, even people who follow my Deeper Love movement and my quotes and stuff. If something I say doesn't, I tell all my clients this. If anything that I suggest, that I suggest you to do, or anything that I tell you doesn't resonate with you, disregard it and throw it out the window.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that you said your Deeper Love fan page. So this, you share with people ideas and suggestions for being more fulfilled in every level of life. Where can people find that?
Well, yes, I have a group on Facebook called A Deeper Love, and I have a Deeper Love fan page. But I kind of I'm shifting a little bit in what I'm doing. Like, I'm calling myself a healing artist now. You know, I used to go by as a tantric healer, but I kind of drifted away from that title because what I do is kind of beyond tantra, because I don't have to use my hands to do energy work. I have clients all over the world that I work on through Skype. I can read your chakra system by just sitting in front of you, and I can send energy. Mm-hmm. And I've had women have orgasms all the way in Australia through Skype just from me sending energy. Mm-hmm. So it's not, you know, so I started off by doing Tantra. That's how I got into the energy and understanding energy. And then now I can move my energy in my own way.
You know, I'm just going to share with you that what you're describing is actually authentic Tantra. So like it is about energy. It is about transference. And some people are very skilled in being able to do energy healing, but this idea of sending energy and doing chakra healing is actually very part of, at least Tibetan Tantra. So just wanted to share that with you. So I would say that what you're sharing is actually more so Tantra than most of what's out there.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, because, you know, and not only, you know, I work on people. I've worked on this one woman, one of my clients. She had issues with her pancreas, and after I worked on her, it got better. You know, so and my girlfriend, her father just had surgery on his knee, and I went and I did energy healing on his ankle rather, took away some of the stiffness from his ankle. So it's not just only the chakra systems. Because my girlfriend had a headache today, I worked on her energetically on her energy then to. You know, take away some of the pain from headaches. So it's just moving energy in general with intentions to heal. When people think that when I say energy healing and when I even say orgasms, that I mean having sex with my clients. I don't have sex with my clients. I don't touch my clients. Mm-hmm. But my intention is always to heal, but it's a possibility. If you're completely open while I'm working on you, there's a possibility you will experience an energetic orgasm. Mm-hmm. I've had clients who have experienced energetic orgasms for between 25 and 30 minutes straight, just coming and coming, just nonstop for that long while I'm working on them. So yes.
So I go on.
Oh, go ahead. I was about to say, so when it comes to connecting, period, it's all about being open. How open can you be? The more open that you'll be when you connect sexually, the more pleasure you will experience.
Mm-hmm. So how can we get to that point of being open? You talk a lot about healing emotional blockages. So how does that happen? How do we get there?
Well, if I have clients that have emotional blockages, when I do my coaching, I do two things. I do their coaching, and I do the coaching. I talk about things that may have happened in their lives. We uproot where the pain is. Why are you afraid? When it comes to sexuality, is there guilt? Is there shame? What is it? I talk to them. And I'm intuitive, so I can tune into them, and we find a root, we pull it up, and I give my clients tools on how to reverse that way of thinking and to break that pattern. Because all it is you're trapped in an energetic cycle, a pattern of pain. So what you have to do to break that cycle is we have to find out what the root is, and then we have to start to do something different when we're triggered. When that pain gets triggered, instead of reacting, we need to respond and do something different. As soon as you start responding, instead of reacting to your triggers, you break the cycle, and all that energy that was trapped in that circle funnels back into you. And the more energy is more useful for you for other things like manifestation, and just your life starts to change. People start shifting around your life. People go out, people come in. As soon as you start breaking those patterns in your life, that new energy comes through and pulls in new people and new experiences. So this is what I help my clients do. I help them break patterns that are keeping them stuck in energetic patterns that keeps them from evolving. Because when you're stuck in all those different patterns, you can't evolve. You have to break all of them. And this is why you keep on attracting the same type of situation, because it's trying to teach you, look at this, you got to break this pattern and break it. But we keep doing the same thing every time. We stay stuck every time.
Yeah, and what you're saying is very true. I know in the standpoint of healing trauma somatically, healing trauma from the body, it takes a tremendous amount of our life force energy to keep that trauma intact, that imprint of it. And so when we release it from the body, so much more energy becomes available on every level, physically, emotionally, spiritually, psychically. We get this influx of energy, which isn't even like coming from outside of ourselves. It's just that the block has been taken out of the way. So all of our available all of our life force energy becomes available to us, whereas before it wasn't.
Right. And also when I do coaching, I also do energy healing on my clients the last 15 minutes. So, for example, each chakra represents different emotions. So if you have sexual trauma, that's your sacral chakra. So at the end of the session, I'll do energy work on that chakra, to help clear it energetically. So that's how I work on my clients twofold.
Is there anything else that you want to share about how your energy healing techniques, like how that works? So you do it via Skype and people are having these amazing experiences and you're sending them energy. Is there anything else that you can share with us without giving the whole kit and caboodle away?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I could do it in person or long distance through Skype. Either way, it's the same effect. There really is no such thing as distance. If you really understand energy, and you understand that imagination plus intention is how you move energy, and you start to get used to moving, and you start to, become more aware of your own energy and feeling energy and feeling everything around you. The more open you are, the more you feel everything.
So you had mentioned that part of what got you to where you were at was meditation. What kind of meditation did you practice?
It was just trying to be still. When I first started, just cutting on music, and, lighting incense or oils. So the scent and the music and just trying to quiet my mind. I was whole at first, but over time it's like an exercise, like a muscle. I kept doing it. Now I don't even need music or scent. I could just go there, and I meditate several times during the day. Sometimes I'm just walking to the store, and I slip into a meditative mode, which really means just being present, like here, when I'm making love, present, here. So when I make love, it's a meditation. When I create music, I make conscious hip-hop music. That's a meditation. And my energy is injected within the music. So everything I do, the reason why you can feel the music, you can feel the quotes, you can feel my voice right now, is because I am present with you right now. I'm not somewhere up in my mind lost. I'm here.
And there's a transmission that comes through with that. That's so very clear, because I do my Dharma classes with my Lama long distance when I can actually make it. And there's a powerful transmission that comes through. And it's when we're present, we are embodying divine essence. And when we send that energy with conscious intention, that's a transmission. There's an impact on the other end. And I experience that exactly with my coaching students as well, that there is it's called a mind-to-mind transmission, but I would say beyond mind-to-mind is an actual body-to-body, is soul-to-soul transmission. Right.
I can get to a point, I can feel my energy swimming in a client's energy, literally. And I can literally, and I do different methods, like I can take my client's imprint, and it's like in my mind, I put it on my body. So wherever I'm doing with my body, it's happening in their body too. So a lot of times after the session, I say, did you feel when I went here, when I did that? They'd be like, yeah, I felt that. I'd be like, did you feel when I took you to 0 point? Yeah, I felt that, you know, because I was feeling everything they was feeling because I used my body as an imprint for their body. That's proof that how we're all connected.
Absolutely.
The fact that I can do that.
Absolutely. You're like so right on. And we are absolutely all interconnected. And most of what we are is actually energy. So that is just such a beautiful concept. We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned and we're going to hear more from Jason.
Are you frustrated and unsatisfied with your orgasms? Do you struggle with getting out of your head and into your body during sex? Would you like to know more about your G-spot, female ejaculation, and the 11 different orgasms for women? Get the secret recipe for sexual satisfaction and start experiencing the pleasure and orgasms you crave. Visit DeviWardTantra.com and register for your free female orgasm guide and uncover the top 3 blocks preventing you from having the orgasms you desire. You spend hundreds of dollars on maintaining your health and wellness. However, your sexual satisfaction is an area you may often overlook. Don't you think it's about time you invested in your sex life too? If you crave deep intimacy, passion, and mind-blowing orgasms, get the tools you need to take you there. Register for your free video introduction at AuthenticTantra.com right now and make an investment in your pleasure. After all, isn't your sex life worth it?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Better Love and Sex. I'm your host Devi Ward and I am here with Jason Hairston and we are talking about energy healing, and it's actually magic. What Jason has been describing is magic, like amazing magic stuff that we get to do as humans. We're going to hear more, but before, I wanted to apologize for not giving you the call-in number. Most of you probably already have it, but for those of you that don't, we've got like 15 minutes left. If you have a burning question for Jason, I'm going to invite you to call in 1-877-230-3062. We would be happy to answer your question. Jason would be happy to answer your question. Jason, you also teach this energy healing. Tell me about that.
Yes, I teach men and women how to move energy, how to connect. The men, I teach them how to connect deeper with women, and the women, I teach them how to connect deeper with men. So on June 1st, I'm starting another workshop online where I'm going to teach men. It's a 5-week program where I teach you all about the masculine and feminine principles, how to connect deeper with the woman, how to do basic tantric energy healing modalities that you can bring into the bedroom, and I also teach men how they can last longer.
That's important.
Yes. So they're only going to be. I have one man signed up right now, so there are 2 actually. So there'll only be 7 more slots. There'll be 9 slots for this online workshop. You can go to my website, JasonHairston.com, and you can purchase your ticket and get right into the workshop on June 1st, and it'll be every Sunday. So, so I'm real excited. I hope men step up to the plate because I know a lot of women like Davey who are looking for men.
Hell yeah.
Step up to the plate. Like, where are they at? They come in. I'm telling you, fellas, they come in like, Jason, these men are not doing it. Listen, you learn these techniques. You learn how to connect. You learn how to open these women's hearts. They'll, in return, open your heart. And then what you experience is definitely magic after that happens.
And so one of the things that I'm observing, because I had been out of relationship with men for about a year and a half, and I was doing some really deep healing of, sexual abuse trauma and like shifting my relationship with men to not feel victimized pretty much. And now I celebrate men. And one of the things I've noticed since getting back in the saddle, so to speak, is that one of the things that men seem to really make a man feel like a man is when he can pleasure his woman until she is a puddle on the fucking floor.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
So
that's ultimately what we want as men. We want to please women ultimately.
Absolutely. So we just got a message that somebody called in and is interested in having your contact info out. So would you like to share your contact info again, Jason?
Okay, you can reach me at jasonhairston.com. You can check out my website as well to get more information about me.
Okay, awesome. And then for those of you that are interested in having my contact info, you can find me at deviwardtantra.com, always deviwardtantra.com, and go to my contact page and shoot me an email. I love talking to you. It brings me so much joy to speak with you, speak with women and men all over the world, and I love it. So feel free to contact me at deviwardtantra.com. So Jason, you are going to support men in this online program in learning how to turn their women into puddles of bliss.
Definitely. Learning how to connect deeper and take women to places they never thought they could take a woman. I mean, I'm talking about orgasms where it looks like the woman is barely breathing.
Yes. Those are my favorite kind.
All the way outside of her body. Yes, it happens.
Those are so
you
awesome.
can get to that space, too. It's like straight 0 point, which means you're not in your mind and you're completely open and you just literally feel like space.
You know what, Jason? I'm going to share this with you because what you're saying is so spot on in the Tibetan tantric lineage. So just, sharing with you because I love the congruency. What you're describing is exactly it. So space is voidness and space is the heart, right? And every orgasm is literally a glimpse of enlightenment. We touch the central channel, our consciousness brushes the central channel. The central channel is space, right? So when we are at that 0 point and we are out of our minds, you are totally correct. The frontal cortex shuts down. We are literally out of our conscious, rational thinking mind. We go to non-conceptual reality. We go to these transcendent states, and that is enlightenment. That is truly enlightenment.
Right, and when you're in that state, you can literally have visions of past lives. It's happened before. You may channel different ancient languages. I've seen this from experience. You may cry because if you're that open, any trauma that's within you is going to come to the surface because love and an open heart is like steam in a shower. Get in the shower, the steam in the shower opens up your pores. What happens? The pus and the pimples come to the surface. That's what love does to emotional trauma. It's the steam. It brings it all to the surface. So when you feel it coming to the surface, allow it to cry it out because it's purging. And when you make love with the intentions of love, it can lead to deeper healings that you never knew needed to be healed. Stuff would just start coming out.
Mm-hmm. And I love that analogy. I've never heard that analogy, but that is so spot on. That love is the steam in the shower that brings all the toxins to the surface so that they can be purged. And so, again, I want to point out that what you're intending to teach in your workshop, I want to get this nailed down. You're going to support men in learning how to do this for their partners, to make love to women in that way that it will heal them. And we need that, dude. We so need you guys to be able to hold space for us because we want to open, we want to heal, and we want to have those mind-melting orgasms. And the masculine energy, whether it's being embodied with someone with a penis or whether it's being embodied with someone who just, a female or transgender person who just can hold a lot of masculine energy, we need that rock. It's that anchor that allows us as women, as the feminine principle, to go more deeply into our hearts and heal that wounding so that we can be more fully who we are.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I actually had a client. I'm teaching one client that I started already one-on-one with the men's energetic orgasmic workshop, and I'm working with this fella. And I told him, I explained how being the rock within a relationship with a woman is very important to understand that because women are more emotional and we're more rational. So we're like, it's our job to, when we see a woman spinning out of control with emotions, it's our job to stand and don't get caught up in that world and let her spin, hold space for her until she comes back down. When she comes back down, then you step in and say, okay, this is how we can handle that situation. You have to understand the energy and know when it's the time that you should say something and when it's the time that you should just hold space and say nothing at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, and that anchor is so very important. I'm a big proponent of nonviolent communication, which helps us as all human beings understand our feelings and our needs, and basically come back to our bodies and out of our heads and into our bodies, which is usually what's happening when we're spinning out. We're trying to avoid our emotions. Actually, that's actually what's happening. It may look very emotional, but what we're trying to do is avoid the deeper pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. And in that space, a lot of times as men, we don't understand what's happening. We just take everything that's happening. We slip into the victim role, and we get offended by what the woman is doing by yelling at us or whatever she's doing, instead of understanding what's happening. But see, because knowledge and understanding is how you can really thrive in your life to find harmony. And that's what I teach. I give you tools to understand what's going on, so you can respond instead of react. And when you respond, you are in a position to bring harmony to any situation. But if you're reacting, you're not present. You're just reacting off of mental cycle blockages that you're trapped in. Mm-hmm. So whenever I feel myself spinning out, the first thing I do is stop, what I'm doing? I'm spinning. Stop, come back. Come back to center.
And ideally what occurs is that, because we're talking a lot about men learning to do this for women, but we as women, we want to learn, how to do this for ourselves, but also we want to learn how to do this for our partners as well. So it truly is a divine relationship where we're both working together, both partners are working together for the greatest good.
And I'm glad you brought that up because, see, like I said earlier in the show, men and women, we both have masculine and feminine energy. So as a woman, if it's a situation where her man is spinning out of control emotionally, it's her job to shift more into the masculine energy and ground him. You see, we can shift in and out of the energies. But if we have to understand that we can do that, and it doesn't make you less than a man or less than a woman. It just makes you just understand who you are as a human being more, and you understand the principles when you need to shift in and out of them. Just like when you're in the bedroom with a woman, okay? Now, the principle of a man is to take action, okay, to give. And the action, and for a woman, the feminine energy on the other end is to receive. But sometimes a woman might want to jump on top. So when your woman jumps on top of you, she's giving. So what you do as a man is you shift into your feminine energy and receive and be receptive. It's a dance. And once you learn to dance, your whole relationship with the opposite sex becomes more harmonious because you're not just standing in one all masculine, no, I'm not messing with the feminine energy, or woman, I'm all feminine, I'm messing with the masculine energy. No, you have to learn how to dance with both energies together.
I love that analogy of dancing. That's so right up my alley. So we have just a little bit of time left, Jason. You're also an author. I promoted you as an author. Could you tell us about your books?
Yes, if you go to my website, jasonhairston.com, you'll see I actually have 3 books, but 2 on my website where you can purchase right on my website. One is called Relationship Advice for Women and Men, A Deeper Love. It's a short, little, quick, right-to-the-point book about how you can have better relationships with other people, which ultimately means developing a better relationship with yourself. And I also have a short erotica book called The Sacred Sexual Journey of Antonio Commons, which is a series, and I'm working on a soundtrack for that right now. And it's a real sexy book, and it's about a story about this guy who recognizes that sex is sacred, and he begins to interact within sexual encounters in a sacred nature by healing women.
I love that. So I'm going to spell out the website just in case people didn't. So Jason, Jason, Hairston, HAIRSTON.com for those of you that are interested in reading those books and learning more, and for those men out there who want to jump up on this program so you can be ready for some of these divine goddesses that are finishing their training with me.
Yeah, there you go. You guys come together and have a retreat.
We'll have to have a retreat. Yeah. We'll bring them all together. On. So I thank you so much for joining me this evening, Jason. It has been an absolute delight and an absolute pleasure talking with you. I'm sad that it took us 5 years to do this, but hey, it's all perfect divine timing.
All divine timing. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you.
You're so welcome. Don't hang up yet. And for all of you audience listeners out there, I again want to invite you to connect with me at DeviWardTantra.com any old time. I love hearing from you. Again, also, I love hearing what you think about the show and how it has impacted you and how it landed for you. For those of you who are in the Pacific Northwest area, I'm going to say this a couple more times. On May 31st, I have a free introduction to Devi Ward Tantra. May 31st, 7 to 8:30 p.m. It's in Bellingham, Washington. If you are in the area, I highly recommend you come out and meet me live in person. It is going to be a hella good time. And then I have a full one-day Tantra, Sensual Awakening Tantra for Women workshop, June 21st, in which I teach the 4 principles of self-pleasure. That workshop is for women only. The intro is for everybody who wants to come, but the one-day workshop is for women only, and I invite you to check it out June 21st. That is 10:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. You can find out more at DeviWardTantra.com/Tantra for Women workshop. If you have any questions, again, you can send them to DeviWardTantra.com. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening this evening. It is always such a pleasure and such a treat and such an honor to be a voice for you and to connect with you through the internet, through cyberspace. And stay connected with me, Devi Ward Tantra on Facebook and at Devi Ward Tantra on Twitter. Have a beautiful evening.
You've been listening to Better Love and Sex with Devi Ward, the show that explores ways for you to awaken, heal, and transform your relationships in and out of the bedroom. Connect with Devi directly at www.deviward.com. That's Devi, D-E-V-I, Ward, W-A-R-D.com, and BetterLoveAndSex.com. Like Better Love and Sex on Facebook and follow them on Twitter.